you did say 5 of the political parties at the 2015 elections. Yes. So what has INEC done about that?
Well, let's clear this. 5 out of 29 parties that contested, because we have 46 parties now. Only 29 contested in 2015, so 17 of them are not really concerned about this. The remaining 24, we called them yesterday. We have won them, and we told them in very clear terms that they are in default of this regulation.
Some of the regulation did say how much a political party can spend at election. It did talk about the regulations, and the Electoral Act did talk about how, after the election, what you should do to INEC, your books, and how you need to tidy it, and auditing of your books. You said 5 people
Only
have done.
5 parties. That's 5 people.
So it did come to those of your critics who say INEC just backs but cannot bite.
Well, I will admit that we are incapacitated we don't really have capacity for prosecution. But all we can do is what we are doing. We have alerted them, and just like we do with the audit of their accounts, we will make all these submissions to the National Assembly as stipulated by the law. But yesterday we went further by telling them exactly where they stood. We did not stop at their finances alone. It will surprise you to realize that about 17 parties do not have addresses in the Federal Capital Territory here, as stipulated by the law. Some of them, their rents have expired, which is the same thing as not having an address here. A whopping 18 don't even have the right composition as stipulated by law in their national executive. All these were the things we brought out to them for immediate correction. And from what we discovered that even yesterday we've gone far in handling this situation than previous steps that we have taken. We are not going to let this lie. We'll make sure that we don't rest until there is compliance. Don't forget that there is a rule.
Mr. Solomon, Minister Shoaib, a lot of Nigerians will say, when INEC is you won't rest. But they do know that you almost can do nothing.
That is not true at all.
What else can you do?
If there are rules for registration, there are also rules for deregistration. We deregistered some, and they were returned back by the court, if you remember, about 2 years ago.
Can you deregister one of the biggest political parties, or some of the biggest political parties that fail to bring the auditing of their accounts?
I don't know how you measure them. To us, there is no difference between the political parties. If you don't comply, we'll bring the sanction.
INEC has not done this. This is what Nigerians are talking about.
I'm telling you, we are looking very seriously at the causes of deregistration, and that is what we are going to met out. If we have erring political parties, that is what we met out to them. We made that clear. That much we want to assure you. We did it. The court could bring them back, but we'll still fulfill our own. We'll fulfill our responsibilities, our constitutional responsibilities. We know that if you default, there are rules for defaulting, and I'm telling you, it's just moving towards the registration if you don't comply with some of these things. Because if the Constitution says you must do this, you don't do it, you are in breach.
You have how many political parties now?
We have 46.
I mean, how many organizations, associations wanting to be political parties?
We have 108 on ground now. We registered 5 recently with the return of 1 by a court order. And I want to tell you that 17 of them are in very advanced stages of registration. In the next 5 weeks, we want to assure you those that merit registration will still come on board. This is the situation in which we have found ourselves. We are dealing with the law. We are a creation of the law, and we apply the law as it comes. So you will not be surprised that before we have the 2019 election, we could be talking of about 60 political parties contesting or more.
Is INEC ready for Anambra election?
We are very ready, very ready. We took Anambra the way we have been taking all our elections. We had an election project plan for Anambra, and of course we have the plan which we follow religiously and which we monitor on a daily basis. As far as Anambra is concerned, we are ready.
For your continuous voter registration, how many voters do you have in Anambra right now?
Well, we have about 2.2 million voters that will come on the register by the time we include the nearly 200,000 that we registered in this continuous voter registration exercise in Anambra. We are expecting to have 2.2 million at least,
all right, quickly,
choosing from 37 different political contestants.
Now, let me take you quickly before I ask you about Senator Dino Melaye. In Anambra, is INEC weary of the security situation around the state? And what have you discovered, or what have you found out as regarding security and the conduct of the November exercise?
Yes, it is a major concern not only to INEC, but to all Nigerians, the security situation in Anambra. But we are very thankful that this is about the quietest movement we have towards any election in Anambra. As I'm talking to you, we don't have a single court case on Anambra. When it comes to security, we had meeting with the security apparatus, and they assured us they know the red zones, and we are in concert with them, and we are on top of the situation.
All right. Quickly, before we close the program, Senator Dino Melaye looks like he has a upper hand against INEC based on what the court has said. You have not been able to serve him. 2 weeks has elapsed from when he is supposed to look at those papers. Is INEC handicapped in the case of Senator Dino Melaye's recall?
Well, I wouldn't use the word handicapped, but we have not been able to serve him just like you rightfully observed. We've made about 6 different attempts to serve Senator Dino Melaye the documents that the court said we should make available to him. We have not been able to serve him, and before we knew what was happening, it went to court to a higher level, to the Court of Appeal, and then the Court of Appeal now says that our request to serve him by substitution has now been passed to the Court of Appeal.
So is INEC frustrated on this?
We are not frustrated. We are
so
just a law. We are a law-abiding.
What are you doing right now?
We are a law-abiding citizen.
What are you doing now? We need to close.
We are waiting for the outcome at the Court of Appeal.
When is that?
Well, your guess is as good as mine. They gave us a date, but we are trying to see whether we can have accelerated hearing on this, just like we had when we had the stoppage by the court.
All right. Prince Solomon Soyebi is the INEC National Commissioner in charge of voter education and publicity at INEC. Always a pleasure talking to you on the program.
Thank you very much. Sir.
Thank you so much. Well, that's our show for tonight. Many thanks for being part of it, everyone. I'm Seun Okimale from Abuja Studio, Channels Television here. Bye for now.